Welcome to Ramblings with Rebecca, and happy Tartan Day! Except, not quite. We have to pretend that it's the 6th of April. I'm a wee bit late because I've been traveling, alas. The 6th of April is Tartan Day. You may not know this, you may have never heard of this, but it is a thing in many countries. Tartan Day commemorates Scottish heritage in many countries, actually. Canada, several Commonwealth countries, and more recently, in the United States as well. It is, in fact, now an official holiday. April 6th is the date of Tartan Day, celebrating Scottish heritage, because in 1320, just a couple wee years ago, the Declaration of Arbroath was signed, don't you know? The Declaration of Arbroath is a declaration of Scottish independence. It's a letter that was submitted to Pope John the 22nd, dated again the 6th of April, 1320, that claims Scotland as an independent sovereign state, saying Scotland has a right to defend itself against military action defend itself using military action if attacked, that kind of thing. So during throughout the 1900s, various groups have celebrated Scottish heritage at various times, but particularly on Tartan Day around the world. In the latter couple decades of the 1900s, more and more groups started actively lobbying U.S. legislators to do something official. So, on the 4th of April, 2008, then United States President George W. Bush signed a presidential proclamation making the 6th of April National Tartan Day. And just for fun, we're going to read through some of the proclamation. I will not do it in a George W. Bush voice because that would be a little bit ridiculous. And I'm never ridiculous on this show. Okay, 2008, Presidential Proclamation, signed on the 4th of April, 2008, making the 6th of April National Tartan Day. Or, well, I should really make that like a bagpipey song. Anyway, Americans of Scottish descent have made enduring contributions to our nation with their hard work, faith, and values. Back a side note, true story. Today, many Americans claim Scottish descent. Many more Americans than are able to actually mark Scottish descent on a census would claim it, or pretend it's in their history somewhere. Several of the founding fathers Scottish. Many of our colleges and universities, including major medical institutes, set up by Scottish folks or graduates of some of the oldest universities in the UK, most of which are actually in Scotland, not England. We're talking 1541, I think. No, 1491. 1491 for the University of Glasgow. That's old, people. Okay, anyway, continue on. On National Tartan Day, we celebrate the spirit and character of Scottish Americans and recognize their many contributions to our cultures and our way of life. Scotland and the United States have long shared ties of family and friendship, and many of our country's most cherished customs and ideals first grew to maturity on Scotland's soil. Blah, 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 talking about the Arbroath Declaration, yada, yada, yada. Several of our founding fathers, this is from the presidential proclamation. Several of our founding fathers were of Scottish descent, as have been many presidents and justices of the United States Supreme Court. Many Scottish Americans, such as Andrew Carnegie, were great philanthropists, founding and supporting numerous scientific, educational, and civic institutions. From the evocative sounds of the bagpipes to the great sport of golf, the Scots have also left an indelible mark on American culture. And it goes on. National Tartan Day is an opportunity to celebrate all Americans who claim Scottish ancestry, not necessarily who have it, but who claim. We're just going to celebrate them too. And we are especially grateful for the service in our armed forces of Scottish Americans who have answered the call to protect our nation. There is, in fact, a few blocks away from me right now, in a cemetery, this great monument statue of Abraham Lincoln that is, in fact, dedicated to all of these Scottish Americans who fought in the American Civil War. That is now like a landmark to the Gettysburg Address and the Emancipation Proclamation and that kind of thing. Grand fun. Anyway, to the meat. Now, therefore, I, George W. Bush, all caps of course, President of the United States of America, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Constitution and laws of the United States, do hereby proclaim April 6, 2008 as National Tartan Day. I call upon all Americans to observe this day by celebrating the continued friendship between the people of Scotland and the United States and by recognizing the contributions of Scottish Americans to our nation. 5 minutes is up.